Why you're first. $10,000 changes your life and why most people never get there. Most people think becoming rich means reaching $1 million. But the real truth is, everything starts changing long before that. Your life doesn't change at $1 million. It starts changing with your first $10,000. Yet most people never even reach this stage. Not because they can't, but because they don't understand why this stage is so important. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people. Both are 25 years old. Both earn the same income. Both live in the same city. But one of them manages to save up $10,000, while the other lives paycheck to paycheck. 10 years later, their lives look completely different. One has freedom, options, and confidence. The other is stuck in stress, dependence, and the feeling of being trapped. So what actually changed? Not just money? The meaning of money itself changed. Your first $10,000 is not just savings. It's proof. It proves you can control your money instead of being controlled by it. It proves you can delay your impulses. It proves you're starting to understand the game. And once you reach this level, something strange happens. Your mindset starts to shift. Before $10K, every expense feels painful. Even spending $100 feels like a big decision. After crossing this line, your brain starts thinking differently. You no longer ask, "Can I afford this?" You start asking, "Is this really worth it?" That's a completely different level of thinking, because poor people look at price, and rich people look at value. Let me tell you something even more interesting. Your first $10,000 is the hardest money to make. Why? Because in the beginning, you're fighting everything. Your habits, your desires, your environment, your lack of knowledge, everything. You're basically trying to build a system from zero, with no experience. It's like pushing a heavy car. At first, it barely moves. It feels impossible. But once it starts rolling, it becomes easier and easier. Money works the same way. At $0, you're completely dependent on your job. You trade time for money. But at $10K, options start opening up. You can invest. You can take risks. You can make decisions without fear. This is where the real game begins. Now let's talk about something important. Opportunity. When you have no savings, every opportunity feels risky. Starting a business? Risky. Investing? Risky. Learning a new skill? Too expensive. But when you have $10,000, those same things start to feel possible. Because now you have a safety net. And a safety net doesn't just protect you, it gives you courage. Imagine someone walking on a rope with no net underneath. Every step is fear. Now imagine someone with a safety net. They walk with confidence because even if they fall, they survive. That confidence changes everything. Now here's the real reason most people never reach $10K. It's not because they don't earn enough. It's because they spend without thinking. When their income increases, their spending increases too. Salary goes up, new phone. Income goes up, more eating out. They feel richer, but they're just spending more. This is called lifestyle inflation. And this is the biggest reason people stay broke even with good income. But people who reach $10K do something different. They keep their lifestyle the same, but increase their income. That gap between income and expenses, that's their power. That gap is what creates $10,000. And once that happens, everything changes. Another key factor is discipline. Saving money is not math, it's behavior. You don't need more income. You need control. Control over your emotions. Control over your habits. Control over your decisions. And once you learn that control, it stays with you for life. That's why someone who reaches $10K once can do it again and again, because they've learned the system. Now let's talk about investing. Once you reach $10K, your money starts working for you. Even if you invest in something simple like an index fund, your money starts growing, slow at first, but consistently. Here's a secret. After $10K, money starts growing faster because you're no longer starting from zero. Let's say you get a 10% return. On $1,000, that's a $100 profit. But on $10,000, that's a $1,000 profit. Same effort, different result. That's compound growth, and that's where real wealth is built. But the problem is, if you never reach that starting point, you never get this advantage. And for most people, that starting point is $10,000. So why do people get stuck? The answer is simple, short-term thinking. People choose today's comfort over tomorrow's freedom, small pleasures over a bigger future. They say, "I'll save later. I deserve this. It's just a small expense." But these small decisions create the biggest difference. The money you spend today could have grown tomorrow. That is the real cost. Now imagine this. You decide that no matter what, you will reach your first $10,000. You cut unnecessary expenses. You increase your income. You stay focused. For a few months, maybe a year, and then one day you reach it, 10,000. In that moment, it's not just your money that changes. Your mindset changes too. You no longer feel stuck. You realize you can do this, and that belief is the most powerful thing. Because once you start believing it, you start operating at a new level. You don't just survive anymore. You start building. So if you haven't reached 10K yet, don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Just start. Track your spending. Save consistently. Increase your income. Stay patient. Because your first 10K is not about becoming rich. It's about becoming the kind of person who can become rich. And once you become that person, everything becomes possible.